let's go over ProWriting Aid and Autocrit because I purchased both of those during their Black Friday sale. I got lifetime licenses. I'll let you know which levels, and let's go through the features that I found useful and some not so useful in case you were wondering if it is worth purchasing for yourself. So let's actually start with ProWriting Aid. So ProWriting Aid is a premium for $10 a month or $12 for Premium Pro. Now, I chose Premium, and the reason I didn't go Pro is because the features inside of there are not anything I would use. The only thing extra you get are 50 sparks per day. What are sparks? Those are basically rewrites of AI for you. And it's not that I don't find value or I'm definitely not an AI hater or anything like that. I just like the way I write and my style and how I phrase things. So it wasn't helpful for me to have it rephrase a couple things here and there. It just made it, to me, look a little bit more inconsistent of my own personal style. 3 critiques per day. I do not use this tool as I go. I only use it right now, and this is all I intend to do, is once my entire document's done, I'm going to upload it and get feedback, almost like it's kind of helping me with a developmental or copy edits or proofreading. If you are going to put in chapters every day, maybe it's useful. So the reason I don't do that is because it slows down my process. So I used to have a developmental editor and I would send her a chapter every Friday. I would say, you review it over the weekend, send me notes Monday morning, and then I'll start writing again. And so what ended up happening is I actually deleted my entire chapter, or I would delete the whole story and start all over again based on feedback. So for me, getting any kind of critique in the middle of the process is going to slow down the writing for me quite a bit. So inside of ProWriting Aid, and both of these apps have to be used on the web. It's not like a separate software you download locally. You can upload anything over here, new doc, or you can just open something and copy and paste it. So you can see here's Bonbons as of November 30th. So here's the entire book. And what I did is I then went in to, and you'll see if you go into critique, it'll tell you you've already used up your critiques for the day. And that's because I already did one 2 minutes before I recorded this. So if I go into, let's close this. If I head over to feedback history, then here I can see what it told me. And I will be honest, I just love the emojis. It makes it look more exciting. But here's strengths, here's plot stories. And basically all of these are super positive, right? Like, let's just pick one. Style of voice. The voice is lighthearted and humorous. Yet it also incorporates moments of suspense and even a hint of dark humor in the ending. So these are more like pat on the back, like attaboy, keep going kind of comments. Once you get down to potential improvements, here's where it actually gives you suggestions. And I found all 3 of these useful. So secondary characters, I could develop them more. That's very true. The shocking ending could be more impactful by explaining Ava's reaction. And then the shift to discovery of the body feels abrupt. I was worried about those things, so I do like that it brought that up. How it works on the back end, I have no idea. Now, it has 2 other ways it can do critiques, but they're not actually available yet. So you'll see manuscript analysis coming soon. I don't know where it's at. And then over here, we'll see reader impressions coming soon. I don't know when or how that is going to work either. So summary is really not a summary of your book. It is a consolidation of all of these other fields you see over here at the top, like style, grammar, rephrase, thesaurus, overused, or whatever. It's putting all of that into one, I guess, dialogue box for you. And I really see this more as, I guess, if I wanted to nitpick once I'm finally done, right? So it's not a developmental edit. It's more of like proofreading, copy edits, just helpful suggestions. And so I wouldn't bother fixing any of this until I was like super, super, super done with the whole book. Right now, because I am personally in the developmental edit stage, that's mostly what I'm looking at it for. So maybe like writing style could be useful, maybe sentence length, readability, sticky sentences, sentence structure, pacing, consistency, repeats, dialogue tags, things like this. I actually found this very helpful. This repeated words, like this word. I haven't seen one of these in quite a while. And yes, I do use said and asked quite a bit, but I'm okay with that. So if you want to go more into detail in each of those sections, you can open up this window and it's going to give you kind of a summary on the left. And then you can just open this up to see more of, I guess, what it's talking about. So it opens up like an accordion. Same thing with the grammar, rephrases, overuse, combos, echoes, everything that you want. You can go more in depth. Did I really use, was there anything in here that was super helpful? I didn't find anything in here overly helpful at this point, again, because I'm doing development edits. But maybe once I'm finished, I will. Now, plagiarism, I honestly think this is pointless. Two things. I guess if you write nonfiction, it would be helpful to know if something you quoted for fair use or whatever copyright violations were flagged. But if you are a fiction author, you haven't plagiarized anything. I mean, if you did plagiarize, you obviously know it. So I think this is silly and useless. Okay, so that is ProWriting Aid, and that's everything it gives you and what it can do. Autocrit, so when you go to plans and pricing, they just have two. They have a monthly or an annual, and I believe it's only Black Friday you can do lifetime deals. I personally, if you're interested in this, you should just email them and ask them if you can still get the lifetime deal. 9 times out of 10, they'll just say yes, they'll sell it to you. So there wasn't really a choice. It's either you bought it or you didn't. So I went ahead and just bought the lifetime one. So when you go in here on your dashboard, a lot of these things are old, right? So it's trying to upsell you. And I think this is the big complaint that a lot of people have with Autocrit. It doesn't really bother me. I don't really care. But a lot of like the R.L. Stine interview, that's great, but it was over a year ago. So, you know, they're just trying, I don't know if they update this like ever. I think maybe these are auto updated. A lot of the things too are free, like this 90-day challenge. It's free, but it's just text. It's basically like a blog post. So if you go over on the left and you go to Academy, and inside Academy, you'll see your courses, like here, just like a regular learning portal, and then you'll see all courses. So if you go to the free ones, you'll see, let's go ahead and start course, that this is just text. So if you've ever taken a writing course from Savvy Authors, that's typically what they do, are the old romance writers of America when that was still around. That's the same thing. They just had basically a blog post broken out into sections, and that was considered a course. So if we head back over to all of the courses, honestly, I don't know how much the courses are. So let's look at a class if you wanted to buy one. And again, I don't know who's teaching these. So if we looked at Magic Systems, $129, and then because you're a member, it's $79. So these classes must be open to the public. So anyways, that's classes. Author services, these kind of remind me of Writer's Digest, how you could upgrade to buy something, but then you're like, who's doing this first chapter critique? Are they even qualified? Have they ever written a book? I don't know who's doing this. I don't know why you'd pay for any of these services. So that's it. They have a forum, like a board on here. So they have a bunch of subjects here on the left: historical, women's fiction, different genres, publications. So you can go in, I guess, and get help. I 100% am never going to go in there, only because I just find this, again, it's a distraction. It slows down my writing process. I don't like interacting on boards either, just my personal preference, or Facebook even. So what does your file look like? So let's just go over here to the writer's desk. So I uploaded Bonbons on November 28th. And again, I just uploaded the whole thing. So over here for story ideas, I think these are new AI features that you can use. So you could do a story idea here, and I think it'll give you some, what's the plot of your story? I don't have a plot. Oh, let's say the next one. Ava is hosting a cupcake contest in her hometown, or in her town, for Christmas. And there is a contestant who is murdered. She becomes the amateur sleuth trying to figure out who killed them so her contest is not tarnished. Her contest reputation. All right, target genre, cozy mystery, target tropes, I don't know, baking, cat sidekick, analyze my story. Okay, so go ahead and analyze it. Let me know what you think. Autocrit. And I guess it'll just do it on the spot. So then you can just kind of test out your story, see how great you are at before you even write it. So premise, the setting is festive and intriguing, personal stakes. Again, these are kind of like super positive. Is there anything for me to work on? This was actually, I don't think, a very good story. It's kind of like generic, right? Unexpected death, as clear goal, closely matches, non-violent. All right, so basically it's perfect. That's what it's telling me. My story is just wonderful and great. Flora and fauna, I don't know what any of these are. Geography, small town. I guess this is basically just giving me writing tips. And then you can go into character building and all of that other stuff. So this is a tool that is in there if you want to try using that. In nonfiction story, it looks like it has another one for that. Story builder ideas. Oh, this is just what I've done. Goals and stats. So this is a word count tracker. I clearly have never, daily word count. I would love to be able to write 6,000. I like that that's the default. Okay, Autocrit, I see the bar is set very high. Okay, let's see. Daily writing streak. Clearly, I haven't been using this. Writing goals, new goal. Okay, so if you wanted to use a word count tracker and track your goals, this could be useful. Let's go back for what you're probably all wondering, which is the actual, so you can upload a document, start a blank one. If you start a blank one, I think you just put your chapters in here by yourself. And then you can title your file like a new book, or new book. So that is one thing. Oh, comparing with other genres. So this is important, I think, when you go to actually do the comparisons, to compare it with other books, because it's going to get, I guess it got permission to download copies of other books so it can compare yours with theirs. So if we head back over to Autocrit. What am I trying to do? Over here, let's go back to my file that I've already done. Okay, so the bonbons. So in the analysis, we want to go to the fiction analyzer. And over here, it's only done chapter 1. We can obviously say analyze all chapters, and we can see everything over here on the right. It's going to give me that same information. Again, these kind of feel like a summary, but I do like this section, possible contradiction events. That's very helpful. Timeline analysis. I can see how this is really useful, especially if you're writing a mystery and you forgot because maybe it's been a few weeks since you picked it up. Like, where were you leaving clues? When did the murder happen? When did you introduce suspects? Where are the red herrings and the MacGuffins? So this could be actually very like plot thread tracking. I think this is actually very useful, and it just keeps going and going for each chapter. Now, you can do one, I think for character. So, oh, here we go, character. So we did a character analysis of Ava, her arc, and here's some inconsistencies that it's pointed out that it's seen in the manuscript. Archetypes, if you like that. Other character analysis, Marcus, Wesley. So these are all, again, helpful. I think the most helpful thing will probably be the backwards blueprint over here to the right. And the backwards blueprint has your tropes in here. Remember when we were doing that fiction story setup? And then this is going to analyze your geography, the environment, the world resources, culture, all of those things, so that you can go back in and see if that really matched up with what you thought. So I don't think this will as much tell you what to do as much as it will tell you its impressions, so that you can say, okay, so for the protagonist, let's say she's resourceful and determined. I like that. Flaw, she can be impulsive. That's perfect. That's exactly how I made her. Want versus need. She wants a romantic relationship. Yes, that is so something that's happening in this book. She evolves being certain in her personal image to becoming more assertive. Audience appeal, right? So this is going to just tell you that this is the impression. So the description, almost 6 feet tall, no specific details on hair or eye color. That is true. I am really bad at describing characters' appearances. So that is a good thing to point out. Shows empathy, enjoys baking, has protective instincts. And then this is more of a psychological, the archetype. I'm not Carl Jung. I'm not really familiar with him, but Jungian, I'm guessing that's who they're modeling these after. So antagonist. So all of this, again, I think just helps to give you another piece. And I'm in the developmental edit stage, so these are like gold for me. Over here, beat sheet. I'm actually not into beats only because I don't like Save the Cat, and I don't know why. I just don't like thinking about a story in terms of beats. I always think of it just like, and maybe it's because I write mysteries, it just doesn't seem to flow for me when I do any of that stuff. So all of this to say, you can go through the other sections more in detail, sentence variations. Now, here's where I think it's going to tell you how you line up to others in your genre, because remember when we uploaded the file, we were able to tell it that this is a cozy mystery file. So here we can see for the average sentence length, it's about 10.8. I think that's words. Mine is 11.7, so slightly longer, but still kind of in line, right? And then same thing with dialogue. You are going to, for each of these different sections, I believe it's going to tell you how you line up with that genre if you picked it, or I think you saw inside of there were other authors that you could actually have the software compare yourself to. So dialogue, mine's 20. So some of my sentences don't have as much dialogue as other cozy mysteries. So maybe if I wanted to, I could go back and add more dialogue. So anyways, you can keep going through all of these. What I did find interesting was here at publishing, this will actually create an epub for you. So you can enter all of your book details, drop the book cover in here at the top. And then when I go to, when I go to style theme, preview and publish, I have the choice between making it an EPUB or making it a PDF. And then you can download it and use it. So I thought that was interesting. I actually don't make any of my edits inside these tools, or I don't plan to. I plan to make all of my edits into, well, I'm actually not sure. Right now I'm using Scrivener. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So we'll see what I end up using long term. But I think it's important just to have one like true record of the book, and everything else is kind of just like feedback. Otherwise, once you start making edits here and then you make them in ProWriting Aid, and maybe if you have another tool, then you're not going to know where your like original document is. So overall, do I think these are worth it? 100%. I never know where to start with revisions. And even if I did know where to start with revisions, sometimes when you go back and you change something in chapter 4, then something in 9 and 10, you might not remember everywhere in the book, maybe that you put that red herring or a specific clue or a MacGuffin, and these are very specific to mystery novels. And I think it would be helpful to have a summary where I could quickly see what was in there. Now, inside of Scrivener, I put everything, I have a summary of the chapter, but it's really quick and like a few sentences. It's not very as elaborate as these. So I could see how this could be very useful during the revision, editing process, or if you want to add a subplot or change like a major plot point or detail in the story to make sure it's consistent all the way through. All right, I hope everyone's having a very wonderful and productive high word count day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.